薄いのアホ。
プリズムパワーメイクアップオーカードレディー。
Welcome to Shojo and Tell, where we discuss shoujo manga and tell who's hot and who's not, talk about themes, and just generally geek out. Today, August 23rd, 2023, we'll be shoujo and telling about the series The Vision of Escaflowne by Katsu Aki. That's the Shonen manga version of Escaflowne, which is objectively the worst version of Escaflowne. Yay, us! I'm your host, Ashley McDonald, and I'm joined by my one true love, Rabbi Asher Sofman. Hello, Rabbi Asher. Rabbi Asher!
Uh-huh.
That's your name now.
It is, unfortunately, in many respects.
Why are you so disgusted? You went to school for so many years to become Rabbi Asher!
It's weird when you say it.
Weird when I say it. Okay. Well, I think everybody knows everything they need to know about you. You're a rabbi.
Yeah.
Who is my husband.
Yeah, which makes it easy for you to make me read crap manga that no one else should buy because you buy it. And then I'm right there.
Hold on a second. It's also out of print, so that makes it harder. The pool of people is smaller. Okay.
Expensive crap manga.
Expensive crap manga. I looked it up, and I think I saw volume 6 or 8 or something. One of the later volumes was going for $50 on Amazon, and no. all around, I say no to that. Okay. So, would you like to say anything about yourself, or we're just going for it?
I think that's all people need to know about me. I have no credentials.
You have no credentials. You're just a rabbi. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, Escaflowne. So, if you're familiar with Escaflowne, you're probably more familiar with either the anime or the movie. And that's not what this is. I mean, those are both very different from each other to begin with, but that's not what this is. So we're here to talk about the Shonen manga, and it's so shonen, much manga. So I feel like if I give a plot synopsis, it might not sound that different from the series, but I'll try to hype up the differences. So, this first section is, we're gonna try to be spoiler free, but also this is an old manga, so like whatever, based on an anime you may or may not know. But we will try to be spoiler free until I say no. It's like all the spoiler time. So here we go. So Escaflowne Shonen manga version. There is still Hitomi. Her last name is Hoshino. Bleh. Bleh. That's what I have to say to that. She still dabbles in fortune telling and all that cool jazz, but she's having dreams of a prince in a faraway land. And she's like, what does all of this mean? And her friend Yukari in the anime is like, is the prince hot? Like, is he hot though? So he's like, I don't what do you want from me? But yeah, Hitomi ends up going to, like, summoned to the world of Gaia and is confused, like, why am I here? The prince wasn't hot enough for this. No, not what she says. So she goes, and in this regard, it's much more like the movie, where she is what is needed to, like, power Escaflowne. And Escaflowne in this version is, still a giant mech, protector of god of Finalia, the land of Finalia. The prince is still Prince Vaughn, who sucks in this version, just quite frankly. Like, he sure is a little shit in this version. But so they are getting attacked by who else, Zybok?
And then the Fire Nation attacked.
It was Dilandau. They come, and what they want Escaflowne. In this version, Zybok is trying to gather Energis, the batteries of Gaia. Basically, they are trying to mine Energis. And Hitomi, I think one of the biggest changes is Hitomi, like, from a plot standpoint, without spoiling, is Hitomi is literally an energist. She doesn't just have a pendant that looks like, you know, the good old dragon heart energist. No, she just straight up is energist. Like, her body is stone. But she's also kind of being possessed by, they're not named like in the anime where they're like Atlanteans. Some ancient people. That's true. They're the ancients. She is merged. She's been summoned by like the spirits of the ancient Escaflowne, who is a girl who was an ancient. Like, I don't know. It all makes sense. Okay. So Zybok's bad. And so they destroy Finalia, and Vaughn and Hitomi are like, no, Finalia was nice though. Gotta go destroy the Zybok. Other big change is that Vaughn has a mom who is not dead in this one. She also doesn't have magic angel wings, so to that. All right. She gets captured by Dilandau. Dilandau is a crazy person, so you can imagine how that goes. And they want to go save. Her name is Escalina. Let's make it more confusing. Her name is Escalina. Let's go save Escalina from Zybok. Let's go stop Zybok from mining all of the energists and destroying the planet. Like, climate change is real. Hashtag climate change is real. That's the basic non-spoiler premise of this, I think. So what is our level of familiarity with this manga series, with Escaflowne in any iteration? Asher, you go first because your answer is way more boring.
Yeah, my answer is way more boring. I watched a little bit of it as a kid, I think, you know, when it was on TV for a second there.
I am very familiar with when it was on TV for a second there, yes.
Yeah. But then I don't think I watched it in full until you made me watch it in college.
Yes.
Right? It was in college?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Freshman year.
And then I watched it again just a couple months ago in preparation for reading this manga. And now I've read this manga. And that's my familiarity.
That's okay. That's your whole thing. So I have a little, like, it's really hard for me to overstate the importance of Escaflowne to me. I think I've said it several times on this podcast. There are many recordings of me saying it. But like, I wanna paint a picture for you, all right? Like, I would say that Escaflowne anime is one of two great obsessions in my life. The other, which was the Hunger Games, at least media obsessions, right? Like, the other one's the Hunger Games. Escaflowne consumed my entire life from the ages of 10 to 18. Okay, when it aired on Fox Kids, just like, it blew my mind. I had never seen any like storytelling conventions, just gone, like done. It was like, everything you know about stories, throw it out the window. Here's animation. No, you don't know anything, you know? It wasn't the first anime I'd ever seen. Like, I had definitely watched Digimon. Card Captors was airing at the same time. Like, Sailor Moon was in my sphere, you know? But I was like, I did not know to love anime until Escaflowne. Okay, so Fox Kids aired it is the end of 2000. They only aired like 10 episodes. I literally tried to petition them to not drop it. I asked kids in my class, I asked teachers if I could stand up in front of the class and ask if they would sign a petition to send to Fox Kids for them not to drop it, okay?
Did the teacher say yes?
Yes, of course I did.
Wow,
yeah. I mailed stuff to Fox Kids.
I knew you did that. I didn't know about the teachers.
Oh, yeah. It was, oh my gosh, the obsession was wild. I would save up all my money to go buy the VHSs and then just, you know, watch whatever 3 or 4 episodes were on those things a million times. I like to sometimes currently, and back then, try to play songs from the soundtrack on my violin. Really love Memory of Finalia, like, dope. You know, this was probably, again, my gateway drug into anime. So my friend Jessica was like, yeah, glad you finally got on this bandwagon. Let's go. Like Fushigi Yugi time. You know, she's been on for Cardcaptor Sakura and Fushigi Yugi, like, yes. That's how we got there. I wrote a paper definitely about Escaflowne in college. I was on an episode of the Anime News Network podcast to discuss the movie version. I wanted to drop $5,000 to be in the Funimation dub. Like, I strongly considered that. I did not do it when they ran the Kickstarter. I would attribute the reason that I've made over 100 episodes of this podcast, Escaflowne. Yeah. On it, like, literally last weekend, Asher and I were with one of my high school friends who we like hang out with regularly now. Our mutual obsession there, not as hardcore, but is Cyborg 009. And he was talking about how he's not really like super into current anime, and like the reason he's never gotten more widely into anime is because he started with Evangelion, and just Evangelion's just so good, you know, masterclass in anime, so intellectual. And he was immediately like, I know it's not Escaflowne, actually. like in that tone and everything. And I didn't even say anything. That's just the person that I was, maybe still am. I don't know. Okay. Like, that's what I'm saying. So most relevant to this podcast is that I bought all 8 volumes, you know, the money that I earned from walking my neighbor's dog or whatever when I was 12, I would save up that money. And I bothered to buy these 8 volumes for the Shonen manga version that is not good. It's not, I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's not good. Okay, it's mid skewing bad.
Yeah.
I fully would not throw it in the trash is what I'm trying to say. Like, I've read worse things on this podcast. I will continue to read Hot Gimmick. I still want to do that worse. Okay. But yeah, so not only did I buy these 8 volumes, I have kept them for whatever 20 years, even though I have moved across the country twice in that amount of time. They are still with me forever and always. And so we are here now I've never discussed widely with anyone, you know, the actual anime, which is very good and my true obsession, but I will probably spend 2 hours talking about this manga. So let's go. So Asher.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite aspect of the manga, or you just like throw it in the trash?
I think there are elements of it where I was like, ooh, this could have been interesting, but they didn't like bring it out more. I actually thought Hitomi's relationship with the ancient possessing the energist that she is also possessing, basically, I thought that was fascinating. Or it could have been, right? Like, what are the implications of 2 souls in 1 rock? Which and the rock is necessary to power the mech, which is also a dragon, which will save the world. Like,
there's a lot there.
There is a lot there. And it was only briefly just sort of like explained at the end, like, oh, what was Hitomi's connection to this in the first place? But it could have been so much more. And there's this one character, Yaifa, who does not exist in the anime or the movie, who morally actually kind of interesting until he wasn't, you know? Potential. Potential.
There's a lot of potential here.
I think its answer to the question of like the main themes of Escaflowne as a franchise, like it was based on the same ideas and then just went a fairly different way about playing them out in the world. I think it is slightly different in the end, but it's still working with the same concepts in a way that I find satisfying. I love, in general, multiple takes on things. I love, multiverse theory in fiction, time travel, alternate universes, all that stuff. And having the manga's sort of different take on the mechanics in a way of the world is, I think, it's fun having it as a counterpoint to anime Escaflowne. I don't know that it really stands on its own for me so much. Otherwise, if I take it on its own, I'm just like, oh, this is just kind of just another action adventure fantasy manga that I have read done better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. Like when you ingest all forms of Escaflowne, you're like, okay, this is a very interesting thought experiment going on here. And that can be fun. And to level set, I guess right now, this manga came out before the anime. Like the run of the manga started before the anime started airing, like significantly before. Not like, oh, they planned it, like the anime actually had been paused in production, I think, at that point. But they still greenlit the manga. So this manga is based off of earlier versions of the anime when it had a different director and all these things. I guess I should state the director. I don't really usually get too nitty gritty into factoids like that, but so Yasuhiro Imagawa was supposed to be the original director, and Kawamori is the one who came up with all the initial designs and other ideas. So they initially thought of it as more of a shonen thing. That's why this is a shonen manga. But then once the actual director of the anime, Kazuki Akane, came on, they really revised what the original story was supposed to be. So, but again, it's still in conversation with the actual what ended up happening in the anime, because it was the manga went in the end, past the run of the anime. I think they discuss in multiple notes within this manga how it's then they started producing the anime and I started redoing ideas based on what they had done. So it's literally in dialogue with this. But yeah, so I referred to this as an adaptation on Twitter of Escaflowne, and some people gave me crap for that because it came out first, but I still I hold firmly to that belief that this is the adaptation and not not the real version. Because it was, the anime was what was planned first. They were always it's going to be an anime. The manga is an ad for the anime, right? And so the anime ended up being very different. And it just ran with some early versions of it. This is a draft one. And, to me, it speaks to the importance of editing.
They're all iterations. They're different iterations of a core concept. Or a core bunch of concepts.
Yeah. About fate and war. Mostly fate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I'm you don't need to read this. You just need to watch the anime and the movie, which are already two pretty different iterations on the same thing, that are fairly fascinating takes on different characters and tropes. For me, it's hard to read this. It's just so many things that I still from the anime think about, not super consciously in my daily life, but the things that Escaflowne grapples with, I am not so good at still. I constantly think about the line that Alan says in the anime where it's sometimes it takes more courage to believe in someone than to fight. I'm man, it's so true and it's so hard, right? It's I have a lot of belovedness for the anime, and reading the manga, I'm just all right, yeah, there's some interesting things here. I actually think one of the more interesting things is the changes to Dilandau. He's strangely gripping in the manga in a way that in the anime he's obviously strangely gripping, emphasis on the strange. I feel there's a more coherence maybe in the manga. It's not just here's a random curveball out of left field here to make that more interesting. I'm all right. I don't need that. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, I'm this manga. See, The trajectory of this manga is the first 2 volumes are objectively bad. The middle of it, actually, you start to be like, okay, maybe this is starting to go somewhere. And maybe these characters are starting to be endearing. And then there are some characters introduced where you're like, no, you came and you ruined it. You ruined it. Okay, you ruined it. And then the ending's just like, I don't wanna like think about this too hard. I'm gonna wash my hands of this, make it a very pat. He just wanted a hug from his dad ending, you know, and I'm like, all right. Like, that's not worth it, you know?
No.
But anyway, if you too just want to be obsessed with Escaflowne, I should also say that there is a shoujo manga version of Escaflowne. It is only 2 volumes. It has never been officially translated into English. It probably never will be. I do have them in Japanese. I do believe that there was one point where I found a website that had, you know, fan translated all the panel. Like, it wasn't a scanlation. It was just literally like, here's a text dump of what each text box says. And I do remember, I believe, reading it that way once. But, you know, that was, I don't know, 15 years ago or something. So that to me, I briefly tried to find it, but I'm pretty sure that's probably been lost to the sands of time. But if you know where it is, like, please do link it to me. I would absolutely do another episode on Escaflowne.
Oh my god.
Shoujo manga version. Astra's like, no! Stop it.
Free me.
Free me from the Escaflowne. Deliver us, Escaflowne. No. But so if you really want to go read this, I think you can find, especially the early volumes, you can find volume 1 for like $3 because nobody wants that. And there's enough of them in the world, I guess. So, you know, you can go try it out, buy it, see what it's like. Or you could just go watch the anime or the movie, which I strongly advise. And you can just listen to us rant more in detail, starting now, about Shonen Manga Escaflowne. All right. So this is a spoiler warning. We're going to spoil all the things about, not all the things, a lot of things about Shonen Manga Escaflowne. So let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it to it. I feel like I should read, I'm not speaking into the mic. I feel like I should read the opening, like Tokyo Pop apologizing to us for bringing this over.
Oh man, that thing. That is so weird.
From Leanne Centaur, who's actually like, you know, a big translator. But so here we go. This is the introduction to volume 1. And actually, like most volumes, maybe through like volume 5 or 6, I think. Maybe all of them. Oh yeah, literally all of them. Okay, here we go. So, Tenku no Escaflowne, Escaflowne of the Heavens, or the Vision of Escaflowne in North America, began as a story in the minds of Hajime Yatate and Shoji Kawamori, 2 brilliant creators who planned Hitomi's epic tale to appear as an animated television series. While most anime series begin as manga, Escaflowne's 2 manga series were built off of the ideas developed for the anime. Yuzuru Yashiro's shoujo, or girls manga, is 2 volumes in length. In contrast, Katsu Aki's shonen, or boys manga, is much longer and happens to be the version you now hold in your hands. Aki-sensei... It's killing me. I'm dead. Okay. Aki-sensei handled both the art and writing for this title, and it was actually the first version of Escaflowne to reach the public. While based on the concept of the anime, it began its serialization before the anime was complete. This version of the Escaflowne tale has a different flavor than the television series, with more action, tweaked character design, and an altered story. As a result, it is difficult to closely compare the 2. They are simply 2 different versions of Hitomi's adventures. Yes, Hitomi's adventures. Sure. That's me interjecting. Escaflowne's versatility has always fetched great praise over the years. Its manga counterparts only expand the world's reach and deepen its universe. With that in mind, please put aside all preconceptions you may have as you sit back, relax, and enjoy this new look at the world of Escaflowne like you've never seen it before. Dun dun dun.
It's like a fan fiction disclaimer.
It truly is. Oh my gosh. This is the fan fiction of Escaflowne that we did not deserve. I've written lots of Escaflowne fan fiction. I didn't even put that in my thing. I wrote so much Escaflowne fan fiction. Oh my gosh. All right. So the different flavor. So it's hard to tell. I will give this disclaimer. It is hard to tell what is a Tokyo Pop translation nonsense, right? Like, and what is actually Vaughn is just a little shithead like this, right? Like, or like really all of the characters, they're just like have to throw in, I'm gonna stick it up your ass and like shit like that, you know? That's how they talk. I don't know if that is a Tokyo Popism or like that's how they actually spoke at all in the initial manga. I lean towards it's probably a Tokyo, like a combination, maybe. I don't know. It's bad.
I mean, yeah, Japanese, the way of indicating, I think it could be something of a mix of both, because the way of indicating a character's brash, hot-headed shonen self in Japanese is to have him speak a certain way, right?
Mhm.
Like with a certain level of informality, certain pronouns,
Yeah.
certain verb tenses even.
They had not figured out how to convey that properly in English yet.
Yeah, they just went for, all right, he's being rude, so we're going to have him cuss every other word and call people really insulting things.
Yeah. And like the only reason I think some of that might have truly been there is like volume 1 Vaughn is so aggressive. Like what? Why does he like poke Balgus in the forehead such that he bleeds with a sword? Like why? Like,
Right.
What is he doing? Yeah. So, you know, yeah, we discussed there are 4 versions. We can rank the 3 legally available in English. We've already done this. Anime, TV version, movie, this manga. Like, I feel like I would put the shoujo manga above this manga, but like it doesn't. I feel like both the mangas are like, you don't need that. Anyway, this is Hitomi's adventure, okay? So let's start with Hitomi. Hitomi in this manga. Ugh. This manga is shonen, so they're like, it needs to be fan service. But this Hitomi is not sexy.
No.
They like purposely made her not sexy, but then also made her naked like 50% of the time.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
I don't get it.
Because she's the girl. And boobs.
She has tits and everything sometimes. Like,
She does.
So she starts off with glasses, and then again, it did the thing where it was like, you know what, I'm tired of drawing that, and it's not sexy by volume like 3. I think it just decided that when she was in Gaia, she didn't need like in Gaia, you don't need glasses.
I think whenever she's transformed, she had to take the glasses off.
So they were just like, I forget this.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to take my glasses off every time I did the thing I was ostensibly on the planet to do, I might just like put them aside somewhere too.
You'd be like, it's fine, you're all blurry, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. What's here to see?
What's here to see? Vaughn.
I don't want to see him.
I don't want to see him in his green-haired weirdness. Like, ugh.
I don't want to see his stupid puffy sleeves.
I don't want to see his stupid puffy sleeve. I don't want to see everybody who has their like crotch cut out in their pants and everything, which she does too. To be fair, like why? That's my biggest question. Why? So this Hitomi, is there like a personality there that we can discuss? Like,
No. she's very weak. Like, not just as a character, like, not just, oh, she's a weak girl who needs big, strong Vaughn.
He's not big or strong. The joke was that he was small. I think they, again, were like, all right, you know what? The joke is not that he's shorter than her. That's not, they're the same size.
Yeah, they're roughly the same. But he needs to man up for her, right?
Right.
But she's also just like, so she's not just weak in the context, like, in character, but like she's weak as a character. Like, there's nothing there.
There's nothing there. And literally, like, this is like the art conveys this all of the time. And he's like, every pose of her in the first volume is like this meek, like shy, like contorting herself into some weird pose, like trying to hang in the background person. Whereas Vaughn is like, rah! I am Vaughn. I stand confidently with my broad shoulders, even though I am short and I suck at everything, you know, like. And Hitomi is just like, oh my gosh, Vaughn, maybe you shouldn't cut people. Please. Like, that's it for at least the first 2 volumes. Then there's like a hard turn in like volume 2 or 3 where they're having a battle and Hitomi is being weak, even in her transformed state. And, you know, typical woman, she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Vaughn, for being weak. And Vaughn just looks at her and there's a panel where you're like, oh, he's going to suck, right? Because he sucks. And he looks at her and then he's just like, don't worry about it, Hitomi. It's not your fault. I'm the one who sucks. And you're like, wow, you're right. And then from there, he like sucks less, but he's still nothing compared to other Vaughns.
No, other Vaughn is great. Yeah. And not because he's like strong,
no,
or whatever.
No.
It's because he like has empathy and changes slowly as a human being and makes mistakes in the attempt to change and be better.
Yeah, this Vaughn doesn't fundamentally change. It's just like, it's the thing where like he acknowledged the weakness and then he was just magically better, like, from there. And you're like, no, that's not how it works. Like, the fools in the Escaflowne TV series had to acknowledge the problem 10 times, and then they still don't get it right. They still don't get it. Yeah, so Vaughn is just a curse machine who definitely is a lot of bluster until he's suddenly not bluster. Like, he's just, right. Then he's good. Not as good as Alan, who is a nothingness in this manga.
Yeah, Alan also has no personality. Weak character.
Yeah, and they like acknowledge that again, and they set him up to be this whole like mysterious person who we're gonna find out a lot about. No. You don't find out anything about that. He's just there. You did not need him. You can delete him from this version.
It would change nothing about the plot.
It would change absolutely nothing about the plot. He's just there to look. What is he there to?
I think he's there because he was important in the original concept.
Yeah, but not here. Not here.
No.
Katsu Aki was like, nah.
No, I mean, he helps them outside of Finalia, but anyone could have done that.
Anyone could have done that, truly, yeah. He's strong and helpful, but like, not really. I don't know how to convey the sheer uselessness of Alan in this version. He's just useless. Like,
yeah. So
the one true, maybe interesting character, you know, that carries over from the anime at least, is Dilandau, because you can't mess up Dilandau.
You can mess up Dilandau, but like, there is just something about a really good villain, you know?
Yeah. So this Dilandau is visually very different than the two Dilandaus that look very similar are from the TV and the movie. This Dilandau, I believe Megan, who runs Manga Test Drive blog on Blue Sky, pointed out that he looks like Prince.
Yeah.
He looks like the singer Prince. He has like darker skin, like poofy hair, where one of his eyes is covered usually by his poofy hair. He's wearing like, he looks like a comedic French naval commander to me at times, you know, like in his getup. But he's still insane. He's still a crazy boy. So
Yeah, just not the same way.
well, it's hard to be the same kind of crazy as anime Dilandau for sure, you know? It's a shame we don't get Jajuka! Jajuka!
It's okay, we got Yaifa.
Yeah, we got Yaifa instead. We'll get to him.
Yes.
So it's hard for me to pinpoint why this Dilandau is so compelling. I think it's because each character approaches him and is like, you know what, Dilandau? No. You're not who you think you are or who you want us to think you are. And he's just like, what? I'm going to kill you. Like, I killed you. Like, you know? Like, and it's like, who is the crazy? Like, it makes you question who's the crazy ones in this exchange. And, like, there's something delightful about that. Do you feel similarly?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I feel like, you know, I've seen better characters in the role that manga Dilandau is playing, but, you know, compared to the other characters in the manga, he's a delight.
Oh, yeah. He's like, he has a personality. You're like, oh my God, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Like,
yeah.
Driving the plot along. He is the plot.
Truly. Helena St. Tessero is the plot.
Helena St. Tessero is the plot.
Yeah.
Dilandau Alberto is the plot.
Yeah. Yeah. I just feel like, you know, I'm kind of over that type of character.
That's fair. And yeah, I mean, it was icky. Like, I mean, this ickiness is carried throughout the manga with other characters too. But it's also like Dilandau has Bond's mom, Escalina, in captivity for a while because he has a memory of her from when he was a boy, of her singing. And like, that was really impactful to him. So he's being like, I want you to sing for me, my little bird, blah, blah, blah. And he gets like rapey about it eventually. And you're like, I didn't need that. Hitomi gets raped like at least twice. Implied rapes. Like, not rape as, you know, fantasy rapes, you know? And I was like, I don't need that. I don't need that. That is truly this manga's greatest sin, is being like, shonen means you can just rape all the women all the time and make them naked. And you're like, no. And this is where I'm always like, you see, like, if you made a shoujo manga where main characters are men, we're always so nice to them. Okay? Like, I don't understand. Anyway, I fundamentally don't understand. And I give up understanding. I just don't care anymore. I ignore all the things that I don't like. I think another fascinating character change carryover from the anime is Zongi.
Mm-hmm.
So Zongi in the anime is a doppelganger. He's only there for like 2-3 episodes max. He has a very impactful mid-series plot point where he, you know, is trying to get all of our main characters executed in the Duchy of Afraid. He steals the soul of a monk and tries to like get Hitomi killed, but Hitomi basically kills him. Well, Dilandau kills him. Many people ruin his life, okay? That's all I'm saying. He was pretty fun in the anime. So this Zongi carries, I would say, more visual similarities through both, even though he's very different looking. He has the same like face streaks and everything, but he's the exact opposite in build as Anime Zongi. Anime Zongi's all skinny and nothingness and a weird creeper man. And this manga Zongi is an admiral for Zybok, and he's like beefy and stocky and like And they have the same, like, my people have been oppressed and abused by war, and we're fighting for the wrong side because we just want to survive. Like, that is still their central shared plot. But he was fun. People had moral disagreements about him in the manga, so it felt like, yes, thank you. You know, quandaries are happening. People have character here, you know. Basically, he had a son who did not agree with his decision to go along with Zybok. His son was like, no, you should fight. You should be the Ukraine here, right? Like, his son was like, we should be Ukraine. But he had 2 nieces who are basically the Narya area equivalents in the anime. They are not cat people in this. They are whatever race. They're called Ryons or something in the manga. So yeah, so he has those 2 people who they like admire him a lot. They're like, he's so strong. We follow him. We will fight for Zybok. Their names are, gosh, what are their names? Colt, normal.
Colt and Shilha.
Shilha. I don't know where Shilha is from, but thanks, Colt. I can say that. You know,
I think they're sort of, if you think about the Japanese alphabet, they're sort of close to the way they would say gold and silver.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Because their machines are gold and silver, which is kind of a carryover from the anime too. The anime plays with that a little bit. So yeah, so Zongi's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Zongi and Dilandau. I like all the bad guys. Is that what I'm saying? I think that might be what I'm saying. I don't like Dornkirk.
That might be what you're saying.
That is what I'm saying, though.
Oh, no,
Dornkirk in this sucks.
Yeah, Dornkirk's a downgrade.
Downgrade. He's not Isaac Newton. Downgrade.
Yeah. I think it's a downgrade. I think it does have something interesting. Am I saying that word right anymore?
Interesting? Yes.
Interesting. There we go. I think, well, maybe we should explain why Dornkirk isn't cool. Like, who is Dornkirk in this manga?
Okay, so Dornkirk, is one of the ancients so the ancients are from Earth. I mean, I guess much like the Atlantis people would have been, and Dornkirk was Isaac Newton in the anime, so he was from Earth, sure. So Dornkirk is one of the ancients who was from Earth long ago, and he came over with like a vanguard of these other ancient people that include the girl Escaflowne, and there was a guy named Phonalia. And all of this is not really explained well or thoroughly, like why they did anything that they did in the past. It's not important. So Dornkirk was a very powerful ancient. They were like, we're going to go colonize Gaia. They were, the Elon Musks.
Yeah, kind of.
I would say Dornkirk is still the Elon Musk, just in reverse, throughout the manga. Like, we're destroying Gaia. We are actively polluting the planet. Let's just abandon it, right? Like, go to Mars, whatever. That's what the ancients are. That's what Dornkirk is still doing. So they all go to Gaia, but it's like unpopulated in the past. There's nothing there. And they're like, this sucks. And so Dornkirk, in the past, he never even wanted to go. He was very young, but he was just a very powerful ancient. So his dad was like, I place a lot of like pride in you, and I expect great things from you. But he just wanted to like hang out on Earth with all the other ancients who were staying and get a hug from his dad. And so like that's truly all that's so his motivation in the end is that he's like, I want to return to Earth, even though he's like already dead. He's just like a projection, really, throughout. Like his soul, it's a soul projection of what we see throughout this manga. And Hitomi disgustingly kisses his like very rotted skull corpse. Gross.
Well, I mean, he'd been dead for so long, he was totally desiccated. So like, it probably wasn't.
It's still
rotted.
Gross.
Sure, but like not.
You're like, it's okay.
Not actively decomposing anymore.
Sure, fine.
His mummified.
Yeah,
mummified.
He was
head.
a mummified person at that point. It's gross.
Yeah.
So truly, the end catharsis is like Hitomi gives him a hug, and you're just like, no.
See, okay, I'm actually again, it's not as cool as Dornkirk being Sir Isaac Newton.
Yeah.
But I think it's actually a really good point about how childishness and that kind of selfishness that's completely, it's pretty understandable, right? He never aged past however young he was, really. Like, he got more years added on, but he was a rock. He was not changing, like developing, our brains don't stop changing until we're 25, right?
Right. All the ancients are literally rocks.
Yeah. They are crystallized.
Yeah.
So he was stuck in a moment of being like, I don't know, 7?
Yeah, he was really young.
He was really young. 7, kind of both pressured and abandoned by his father, by his parental figure. Does he even have a mom? Who knows? It doesn't matter. Point is,
he got on a planet with a bunch of teenagers who also abandoned him. Like,
exactly.
What?
Yeah. So he was left behind somewhere he didn't want to be, with like the responsibility, I guess, a responsibility he didn't want. And he has no chance of like getting his father's approval because he's on a different planet, and we'll never see him again.
Yeah.
Although I don't know that he really grasps that, because he's a 7-year-old eternally. So I think this choice of his being a child, it's not that redeems his actions. It doesn't.
Right.
What it does is it makes a really compelling case for that sort of childlike purity, the purity of selfishness, the purity of actually legit being a victim can itself then victimize a whole planet.
Yeah.
Almost 2 whole planets.
Yeah.
It's a cycle of abuse, actually. It's the cycle of abuse because he is very, very powerful. And I had another thought.
Here comes a thought. I have
Then
thoughts
I
in
interrupted
response to your thought, if you cannot recall your thought.
Go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's, I think it's interesting to then think about it in comparison to this Dilandau.
Yes.
Because this Dilandau, so the thing that happened with this Dilandau is that his dad dies when he's fairly young. And so the night that he had heard Escalina sing, his mom tried to kill him, but he killed her instead. And so that becomes like the person that Dilandau is. Like, Dilandau's like, I killed my mom. I'm crazy, right? Like, that's insane. And I have to go find my place to belong. And the place he found, like, he's from Finalia. So that's why Vaughn keeps being like, you're Finalian. I should actually try to protect you. My mom told me not to hate you because perpetuating hate doesn't do anything. Like, perpetuating hate just perpetuates more hate, obviously. Like,
right.
So yeah, so this Dilandau found, his home in Evil Zybok land with person who mirrors his experience, except doesn't actually get to grow physically old or interact with people, whereas Dilandau is actually still a growing human being who just develops into, like a great manipulative killing machine. Like, I don't even, like, we'll get to like a power fight between everyone later in response to Astra's brother asking a question, but like, I actually don't even think this Dilandau is that great at fighting. Like, I know Yaifa's like, you taught me everything, but I think his true power is like manipulation.
Yeah, I agree. Which is so wild to think about in comparison to other Dilandau who couldn't manipulate his way out of a mitten. But right.
And yet still had very many loyal followers for reasons.
Yes. I think, and I know we're not really talking about anime Dilandau, but part of anime Dilandau's appeal, both to the audience and I think to his followers, is in a way there's a purity in him, like a childlike
energy,
likability of him.
Okay.
Appeal, that was the word. Where, like, if you got his approval, if you got him to smile or laugh or something, you'd know it was real. And I think in a way, manga Dilandau has that as well. I mean, you wouldn't know it was real because he's a liar and manipulative.
He's
but
such a liar.
Right. But I can see why, Yaifa was so proud to live up to his praise, right?
Right.
There's something about him that is charismatic and magnetic. And yeah, I think even though he did grow up, right? He's physically an adult.
Yeah.
He is also still stuck in that moment of my mother tried to kill me and I killed her. Both those
And that's
things,
a powerful move,
super, super traumatic. Like, my God, no wonder he, and we can't blame his mom for all the actions he then took, but we can also see like, oh, well, this is the root of something that never got fixed.
Yeah, because then he kills Von's mom too.
Right. Because he doesn't know. Yeah, he's afraid. He and Dornkirk are both deeply afraid of the traumatic thing that happened. And so they make horrible mistakes trying to avoid that thing while making it worse.
Yes, of course. Of course.
Right. That's how it works.
That's how it works. Yes.
Right. Instead, like, they did not learn how to grapple with it like adults, which is what our protagonists are supposed to be showing us. I think, yeah, Von's switch is sort of like, oh, and now he's becoming more adult. But it doesn't really show its work in that way.
Right. No, it's like, obviously, yeah, like, Von gets his ass beat like 10 times and then is finally like, you know what? Y'all are right. And again, just the acknowledging it takes away the power of his suckiness, right? And he's just magically good. Yeah, just it doesn't show its work there. Whereas again, Dilandau at least like keeps making the same mistake over and over and over. You have all these interactions with him where you're like, maybe he's starting to get it. I think he generally in certain moments is starting to get it, and then but then has a breakdown again and goes back to it, right? Like,
yeah, he has a setback, regresses, and ultimately isn't able to overcome it.
Yeah, he did a lot of double crossing in this. It was fun.
Yeah, none of it went well for him.
No.
Well,
he's a bad guy. He still has to he has to get out of here. So the bad guys are kind of like fun and definitely like when you think about them in conversation, because anime Dilandau is also about like a childhood trauma that could not be gotten over. So like they are still interesting in dialogue with each other. But man, characters who are fun in the anime, like Malerna, are not fun in the manga.
No, Malerna.
Oh, God.
Just got stripped of everything that made her fascinating in the anime. And again, not comparison, but like, she's just another nothing woman character.
Yeah. And she's like annoying about it too. And it's like, oh, God, even worse. No.
Yeah.
Oh, stop.
At least we can feel less weird about like her shipping prospects.
It's true. You're like, yeah, sure, be with Alan, whatever.
Yeah.
You're both nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Have some nothing babies.
Have some nothing babies. Off in Astoria, whatever. Bye.
Yeah, fine.
Fine, dip. Cool. Also, so to concretely say why Malerna sucks, Malerna is still a princess. She's like super whiny. She literally doesn't really do anything. Like, she's a roadblock for like 75% of the times that she's there. She's like, no, Sir Alan, don't go. You all should stop involving Astoria. Like, she has no gumption. Like in the anime.
She got to have a moment where she showed some gumption and like did something for our characters.
Right, we had to redeem her in the end. She did the one thing.
Yeah, but like it was too little too late. And she still doesn't have any of her own, like, her own thing that's her.
No. Whereas, like, yeah, anime Malerna is like, hello, I'm a princess. And I don't really want to be a princess. Yeah, I want to be a doctor. I saved Alan's life. Woo. Like, I ran away from home. and performed surgery on Alan. Like, damn, badass, awesome.
Yeah.
Similarly with like going back to Hitomi, like Hitomi in the anime is like totally a bad, like both of these characters are still feminine and girly, I would say, but like Hitomi goes to a planet where she doesn't know anyone, and there's literally in episode like 4, she's, you know, surrounded by Alan and Alan's crew and Vaughn. There's literally like just dicks all around, right? Like, doesn't know these people. And she is trying to be like, hey, y'all, you're in danger. You should listen to me. And they're like, they are dismissive of her. They're like, I don't know about that. Like, why don't you go and sit pretty and like go over there and it's okay. We'll protect you. We're big, strong men. And, you know, there's a moment where she's like, maybe. But then she like is like insistent that she is correct because she is correct. She is not intimidated by any of these like adverse factors. There's no threats, like real threat of sexual violence in those moments, and that's so delightful. Like, okay. And Hitomi is athletic in the anime and like jumps a gap again in episode 4 or 5, where if she had not made that jump, like if she had missed the landing, she would have died, but she does it, you know, like badass. She's always fighting with Vaughn, like literally just like she doesn't have the armor. She's not inside the robot like she is in the manga. She doesn't get to be in the robot with Vaughn. Vaughn doesn't get to be in the robot with her. She's just like on his shoulder being like, hello, I'm a target. Like in the anime all the time. Like badass. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, no, this Hitomi. So, but yeah, we didn't mention that this Hitomi and Vaughn, they both get to be in the cockpit. And again, it's actually like not sexual in the way that like Darling of the Franxx is sexual or something, right? Like, you know, but it's still definitely like, what the heck is Vaughn doing here? He doesn't seem to be doing anything. He's not like pressing like maybe the implication was he's pressing buttons. It's very unclear. You don't need him there. You don't need him. Like that's all I'm saying. I'm just throw it out. You don't need him you don't need him. Okay. So the only other characters worth talking about that mirror the anime are Vaughn's mom and Alan's dad. Alan's dad is definitely like, you don't need him here. In the anime, he was way more interesting.
Right. Vaughn's mom, again, there's an annoying thing where she's a woman that is just constantly a damsel in distress, right? Like she's kidnapped by Dilandau the entire time.
Yes.
Can't really do things on her own, but I think she has more of an impact on what happens than Vaughn's mom in the anime, despite being like the link between Vaughn and the ancients or the Atlanteans in the anime. Escalina gives us the message, I guess, gives Vaughn and Dilandau the message about breaking the cycle of hate, but like dies, like total anime mom death. Like why? Come on. Like I guess I can cut it some slack because it was made a while ago and we hadn't seen so many dead anime moms yet, but my god, I don't need more dead anime moms.
You don't need more dead anime moms. That's fair. Yeah, I would say like Vaughn's mom is a presence in the anime, even though she's not alive. We get like memories of her and everything. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like her importance in the anime is less, like she does deliver messages about their power and everything, but it's more like she created a conflict by being an Atlantean, you know, like being a person with wings, and Vaughn carrying on that legacy and what it means and the discrimination they face, like as draconians and everything, which is not, you know, present here at all. Like that's not the point,
right?
So like an anime mom is more interesting, but by way of like what she is rather than who she is still. Yeah. So like neither of them is super like my favorite character or anything. No. So there are some manga exclusive characters whom we should mention. Some of them we've already mentioned. One of them we actually haven't, even though, because you don't need her, but she's kind of fun. But so Legusu is a creepy old man who is protector of like the spring where they learn about the ancients, and they also have energist powers and everything. But he is very much a 90s, like, we thought having creepy, lecherous old men was a fun trope for a hot second there.
Oh, yeah.
Holdover.
Yeah, he's Master Roshi.
Yes, exactly. And you know, no. But just, so he exists. He's a guy. He helps them out sometimes. That's how they learn. Like Hitomi learns she can turn her arm into a blast beam. Like, that's fun. So there's a Phenalian named Shion, who is Balgus's daughter, because Balgus is there for, the hot second that he is also there in the anime as the sword master Tavon. There's not much to say there. But he has a daughter in the manga who has tit armor, who has titty spikes. because shonen. And she is there to be like, hello, Crappy Von. You forgot about your people. All you care about is your mom. And you're the reason that we're in this situation in the first place, because you suck. And you suck. And so we're going to do all the things on our own. And Von's like, I have our god, Escaflowne. And she's like, let me get in there too. And they're like, oh,
and that was great.
No. She's like, I want to be in the robot too. And they're like, no, it's crowded in there. And then she's like, I'm getting in the robot. And they're like, fine. Don't poke us with your titty spikes.
They did not say that.
They should have. They were thinking
They should have. I don't know. I don't think Vaughn spends a lot of time thinking about her spikes.
He just thinks about her tits straight up.
I don't think he thinks about those either. I don't think he understands that she is a woman.
Oh yeah, that's true. She's like totally friend zoned. He's just like annoying woman.
I know there was that moment where Hitomi asks her if she has a crush on Vaughn, and she's like blushing, no. But I don't think she actually would.
No, they wouldn't.
No.
There's no chemistry there.
No.
But like, so she like could have been fun, but she had a single plot purpose, which she served in volume like 2 or 3, and then is like not important anymore. I feel like I want to get to Yaifa like last, actually, because he's the most fun. So we have some crappy other evil people who they're like synthetic energist people.
Yeah. Are they worth discussing?
No. I acknowledge one of them looks like it looks like Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're called the Steel Demons. They all suck. No, we have to talk about Opal because he sucks so much. I hate him.
Fine.
Fine. Opal becomes like ringleader of synthetic energists. He's definitely becomes the one, like how Dilandau is like, the woman is the one that I have to kill. She's the one who's ringleading everything in the anime. Dilandau has those moments. Like, that's Opal in the manga. Opal is like, the woman thinks that she's better than me, but she's just a whore, and like, I must kill her, and I'm a perfect being, and she's driving me insane, like literally driving me insane, blowing me up. And he's like prime rapist man, and he is what like really tanks this manga for me, honestly. Like if he just wasn't here, like this manga would be like, all right, it's fine. Like it's nothing special, but it's fine.
Wow.
You know? I actually really believe that.
Wow. Okay.
Freaking Opal. He's given so much presence for a while.
It's true.
He's just so prominent. Like, and he sucks. He's horrible. In like a non-interesting way.
Yeah.
Delete him. So our other friends. So we should talk a little bit about cult and Sheila. Sheila? I don't know.
Shilha.
Shilha. Why is there an extra H? I don't understand. Anyway, nothing compared to Naria and Area. But kind of fun. Also weird. Why?
Yeah.
Like, why was Colt allowed to be a Pokemon for a bit?
Well, they're shapeshifters.
Are they still shapeshift? I guess we never saw Zongi do it. So I guess I was like confused that they still had some of the same powers as like anime Zongi.
Yeah, we only saw Shilha and Colt do it.
Yeah.
And I guess it was unclear like how they could do that, but they did do it.
They did
it once.
Yeah. Well, no, they did it twice because you saw them earlier and it weirdly lingered on them in like a throwaway panel. It like gave a full body shot of them.
Mm.
And you were like, okay, that's weird. They're going to be weird. And then they came back like that, like 2 volumes later.
I see.
Yeah, like when they were, because they're basically like infiltrated Alan's dad's camp. Alan's dad is basically just like a crappy rogue pirate man, essentially. Like he's a rebel without a cause, except the cause is always Zybok. But anyway, so he has his own little band of rebel misfit people that they like had infiltrated. And when they first meet them, yeah, there's a weird shot that lingers on Colt and Sheila. And then they like, go fight some battles for a while. And then you like return to their camp and they're there being weird.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way they were fun because they gave Alan a personality for a hot second. There was one time they gave Alan a personality and that was fun.
Yes. Because
their thing is that I would say they are actually like, they are less sexy than Naria and Area are.
Correct.
In the anime.
Yes.
But they are much more invested in always going for the low-hanging sex joke.
Yes.
Than Naria and Area were. Like, they had their moments, but that was not their whole personality. So again, they're loyal to Zangi. They really admire him. They think they're badasses. They're always going to say a sex joke. And so they made it that the only time that was fun was when they were fighting Alan. And Alan, like, said yes and to it,
and it was great.
And it was great. Excellent.
Only good Alan moment.
Only good Alan moment. Only, like, notable Alan moment. It was great. I love it. A++. Otherwise, all of these characters,
Correct.
And as discussed, Escaflowne and Finalia as characters were like,
I would have liked to know more.
Yeah, like,
them.
Tell me more, but, like, didn't. So, So Yaifa is, like, the one worthy manga exclusive guy. But he's your guy, so you can talk about Yaifa.
Is he my guy?
Yeah, you love that guy.
I feel like they did squander some of his potential in the later volumes, and I was like, "Aw,
of course they
I wanted more of him." Yaifa is the strongest Zybok mech pilot, actually, more than Dilandau.
Yeah, he gets more of like Dilandau being the pyromaniac in the anime. Like that is more Yaifa's, but not like he's not insane about it. He just like gets the mech that does the fire.
Yeah. Yaifa is actually probably the most sane character in this whole manga.
Yeah.
Does that seem fair? Fair assessment of Yaifa?
I would agree, yes.
Yeah. He's very reasonable and he's like an upstanding guy, and he is consistently listed as Zybok's top assassin, which I find hilarious. I think that's kind of a mistranslation of whatever the word actually was, because he's not an assassin. He's not sneaky.
No, he's not sneaky.
His thing shoots fire.
No, it's definitely just like whenever they're like, okay, we have a big opponent that somebody else couldn't take out, like send Yaifa.
Send Yaifa and the flame whatever it was called, Flame Knight?
Night
sounds
of
right.
Flame or something. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. I bet it was like Hitokiri or something. Manslayer.
Maybe.
Anyway, Yaifa's a great guy. So he's from Zaibach. He actually really wants Zaibach to be a good place, and he wants Zaibach to take over the world because he genuinely thinks that will end war. I guess he's kind of the Falcon.
Oh, he is the Falcon. You're right.
Maybe that's why he's so compelling.
Yes.
Okay. Falcon's better. Anyway, we're not doing that. Yaifa has this huge... Okay, no, backing up. Yaifa like takes care of the refugees that are in Zaibach. Like he makes sure they have food, even if they don't have good shelter or anything.
Yeah, even though they're slaves of Zaibach.
Yeah, when Vaughn was wandering around Zaibach, Yaifa helped him get around a bit. He was like, "Hey, are you a refugee? Let me help you." Not realizing that that was the prince that he was supposed to kill.
Yeah. Oops.
He's genuinely only good at one thing.
He's only
That's piloting a mech. He is one of Dilandau, or he was one of Dilandau's subordinates, and Dilandau kind of trained him to be good at fighting. And now he has overtaken Dilandau in skill. So he has this huge man crush on Dilandau.
Yeah.
Which actually makes his job hard because Dilandau, in the midst of double-crossing literally everyone he ever meets, double-crosses the Zaibach Empire. And so the Zaibach Empire is like, all right, Yaifa, go kill Dilandau. And Yaifa's like, I don't really want to.
Yeah.
But I will. But he doesn't.
But he won't.
Yeah. Right. But then the thing that like makes him question his loyalty and also his purpose in life is seeing Zaibach abandon its citizens and its refugees. He's like, oh my God, like, what have I been doing? What is my purpose? I've been following orders, believing that, the Zaibach Empire is a glorious thing, but this goes against what I personally think is right. I think it's good to help people, and you are doing the opposite of helping people. You are killing all of them. And so he has this whole crisis of faith, and then, oh, lucky him, Dilandau shows back up, and he's like, well, maybe I will complete this one last order and just, give some meaning to my life, and then he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Which is sad. And then he dies.
Because Dilandau kills him.
Because Dilandau kills him. Which, again, is another example of Dilandau hurting himself.
Yeah.
But also sucks for Yaifa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Yaifa is definitely the Falcon. And to be fair, I think that Falcon's turn of allegiance also is kind of like in the anime.
Oh, yeah.
Rushed a little bit,
Right.
So yeah, so it's like I somewhat understand Yaifa. Like, no, I get Yaifa, like, because I am definitely I want to follow orders and like equate that to being a good person, right? Like if I'm doing things for others, it feels nice.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, so the Zaibach Empire still has this guise of like, oh, we're not gonna go to Mars, like we're not gonna go colonize Earth. It's like we're doing this to end all war. Like we all unite under colonialism, basically. Like there will be no more wars, and he believes that message. Like, okay, fine, fair enough. Humans believe that message for hundreds of years, like whatever, and he's unaware of like climate change yet and everything that they're doing to the planet. So fine, whatever. But yeah, it's just a shame that the turn was a bit rushed, and then Dilandau fight couldn't have been more compelling than him just being like, but Dilandau taught me everything, so I'll let him stab me.
Right. Just admit that you love him.
Oh my God, yeah. This is my OTP is definitely Yaifa Dilandau. Like
Oh, absolutely.
They love each other so much.
Yeah. Dilandau in every universe, loved by his subordinates.
Yep. Still weird.
In a sexual way.
I mean, he's just so pretty. He is pretty.
He is pretty.
He's pretty. I get it.
Yeah.
And nobody cut his beautiful face in this one, you know? He
They
didn't have to
should've.
go cheek, 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 cheek.
Man. All right.
Okay, now we shall do listener questions / comments from mostly your brother. But hi, Andrew. I guess he's my brother too. Whatever.
Yeah.
Our brother, Andrew.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's okay. He can just be my brother.
At Phantom Cellist F on Blue Sky now. I do everything on Blue Sky now. Get with the program, everybody. Making some isekai jokes. Says isekai, Isa okay? Are you okay? Groaned. I'm just peachy. Isekai isn't okay though anymore. Sword Art Online broke that crap. Anyway. So he wants us, we have to compare power levels between this, the TV, and the movie. Like, which Vaughn would win in a fight between the Vaughns?
All right. Let's do this.
Okay. Well, this one, Vaughn in particular is easy. Like, if we're talking
Yes.
straight, like, who would kick each other's ass in a fight, movie Vaughn would one stab both anime Vaughn and manga Vaughn. They're dead. One try. Like, movie Vaughn is... He's a sweet boy in the end, like, but he kills a whole ship of people in the first 5 minutes. Like, he's
feral.
He's a feral child, like
feral samurai child. Yeah.
Yes. So he's not messing around.
Anime Vaughn could absolutely take manga Vaughn as well.
Yeah, like anime Vaughn doesn't want, like, manga Vaughn is like shoving anime Vaughn, being like, fight me, you pansy, fight me, fight me, fight me. And anime Vaughn is like, I don't really want to do that, but like, if you insist. And then kicks his ass.
Then you just like one shot, slice his head off.
Yeah. Like, that's how this would go down.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Hitomi.
Hitomi's. Anime Hitomi definitely wins everything.
No, we talked about this.
No, oh, right. If it's a straight power thing.
So, anime Hitomi obviously is the best Hitomi.
Yes.
But in a straight power competition of some sort,
yeah,
manga Hitomi.
Yeah, because manga Hitomi can turn her arm into a gun blast.
Yeah, into a blast cannon. Yeah. Also, she's a rock and indestructible, essentially, because you can just summon her again.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she definitely has the most ability to fight.
Yeah.
I think movie Hitomi dies.
Yeah. Movie Hitomi is the one who will die the fastest. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And to be clear, anime Vaughn is the best Vaughn. Like TV anime Vaughn is the best Vaughn. TV anime Hitomi is best Hitomi.
Yes.
But if we're talking straight power levels.
Straight DBZ power levels.
Yes.
All right. Straight DBZ power levels, Alan. Anime Alan. Yeah, TV anime Alan.
TV anime Alan, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yes. Unfortunately for Malerna, we have to answer movie Malerna.
Yes, movie Malerna in a straight fight can fight. Yes. Whereas TV anime Malerna, who is the superior Malerna, is a doctor. And a princess.
Yes.
Who's constantly wearing floofy dresses.
Yes. No knives or swords.
No.
Scalpels, yes. Knives or swords, no.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
no.
That's what I'm saying. Whereas movie Malerna definitely was like, I'm sexy and I'll cut you.
Yeah, no. She's got pants, or at least leggings.
Yeah.
From what I remember. And like is part of a underground rebellion. So like, yeah, she can fight.
Yeah, she's part of like Alan's like fight crew. And you're like, okay, cool. Dilandau.
Oh, yeah. No, this one's hard.
This one is hard.
Because all the Dilandaus.
No, movie Dilandau dies.
Right. Movie Dilandau
is a pansy.
Yeah. So it's between TV Dilandau and manga Dilandau.
That's really hard for me, actually.
Yeah. I do think TV Dilandau wins in a straight fight with mechs.
Maybe.
With mechs. I think his mech is better.
His mech is definitely better. I think the anime
mechs are better. See,
but if it's just sword, like person, I think manga Dilandau wins.
You might be right. Have we ever seen TV Dilandau just fight as a human?
I mean, he gets cut in the cheek by Vaughn because he engaged in a non-mech fight there, right? But otherwise, I don't recall another scene where, we just see him straight up like fight with a sword.
Yeah. So I think manga Dilandau's advantage there is twofold, in that we have seen him fight with a sword, or at least kill people with a sword.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the same thing. And I think it's easier for him to get in somebody's head when they can see him.
Yeah.
He's more of a manipulator, obviously, than TV or movie Dilandau.
Yeah, like TV Dilandau just wants to come in his scary mech and be like, burn, you know?
Yeah.
He doesn't want you to see him outside of that.
Yeah. I think just loose in the world, manga Dilandau actually wins, because manga Dilandau will use anything and everything. And TV Dilandau is only good at two things: piloting mechs and being just completely off his rocker.
Yes.
But I think in a mech fight, TV Dilandau will just dominate. Maybe not dominate, but would win.
Yeah, for sure. Agree. I think those are the only characters that carry through all three versions.
You might be right.
Because we get a lot of characters.
Oh, well, Balgus, but Balgus is, I think, the same in all three.
Yeah, Balgus is the same. I can't rank, based on what I know of Balgus, I can't rank who would win there.
Balgus is Balgus. They're not even different.
No.
It's just the same guy shows up in all three. Yeah,
because certain people are only into...
Yeah.
Like Jajuka.
Right.
And to be clear, I believe we would pick...
Wait. Oh, Dornkirk is only in 2.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Because Vulcan is the main bad in the movie.
I forgot.
Yep. Yeah, again, to be clear, I think for like favoritist version of any character, we would pick all anime TV.
Yeah.
I like the movie, but it's definitely like, again, it's something that I don't think holds up on its own. Like, you can only watch it in relation to the TV series to like really get anything out of it.
Yeah, and even with that, like, I don't like it as much as the TV series.
No.
It's very weak on character.
Definitely was like, the anime was running pretty hard on vibes, but like definitely made like the plot progressed in such a way, there was logic that it set up for you. You're like, okay, I'm following. The movie was like vibes, gritty and vibes, you know, like those were the only words it needed. It was like, let's go. And you're like, okay. Also, like, movie Hitomi is depressed and like, yeah, it's just weird. It's like the HBO Escaflowne, you know?
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know if I needed that. I don't know. Like, I didn't need it. It was fine. It's fine. I didn't need it. All right. So your brother also made another silly comment that says, it is now canon that all truck-coons are the reincarnation of Shonen Mangavon trying to create worse and worse isekai series. No, again, Sword Art Online did that. Sword Art Online did that. I pinned it on Sword Art Online. Okay, so Megan of the Manga Test Drive blog is at Brainchild129 on Blue Sky and other social medias, asks, since Aki's adaptation clearly did not work for you, how would you adapt this version of the story into something that didn't suck? And you can't just say, turn it into the anime we actually got.
All right.
So, well, first, I think so to establish like adapt the version that the dictates that I know about of what this version was like it was shonen, more mechs. I think like emphasis on the mechs. Hitomi had glasses and was more ordinary girl, like. But yeah, like beyond those things, and obviously like characters remained pretty the same. Prince Vaughn, like Finalia. I'm not quite sure what other exact things went into those discussions, right? Like I'm not privy to like every little thing. Maybe at one point I was, because I was definitely in 2000 internet. All I did was go on Escaflowne fan sites, like like, but I was also 10, so it was a long time ago. So as I've said elsewhere in this podcast, if you could just make it like no rape, it would greatly improve the story if there was less Hitomi titties. And I know that, yes. I think actually fan service, like having more fan service is part of like make it more shonen, like part of the dictate to make it more shonen. So like, fine, keep the titties, but like no,
don't change shonen to not require
Asher,
that.
Don't ask ridiculously logical things. don't just like, yeah, don't rate women. That would be cool. And as we said, I think like if you're gonna make Escaflowne a ancient who powers the god of Finalia who was once a guy, like please tell me more. Like what? Like I think basically get rid of all the superfluous characters. Okay, you need Alan, like please give him a personality. Give him like, again, it was set up that he had some mysterious backstory, and you're like, is it just that his dad is a weird rebel man? Like I need more than that. Like I want more. Give Dilandau more catharsis. Like I don't know. It's like not easy catharsis, but like catharsis.
Yeah. Let Yaifa win against Dilandau. He doesn't have to kill him. Let him win.
Let him win. Take
out all the bad guys we didn't like.
Oh yeah. You don't
Irrelevant.
There was a bad guy introduced literally in volume 8, and you're like named, had lingering shots, battle scenes. You're like, I don't need this person. Rovu or whatever her name was, like, I don't need her. Like, no. Yeah, to me it's just like, I don't know. Maybe I should read some of the parts in the back of volume 8. They have a little interview, and I think they discussed how he like kind of rushed the beginning because he was like, I need an excuse to get Hitomi to Gaia, basically. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to find it. Yes, Shoji Kawamori is like, I was really surprised when Hitomi turned into a jewel in volume 1, like, yeah, me too. Like, tell me more. I just like, this whole mechanic could have been so interesting, and instead the only other person who's not evil who gets to do it is creepy old man Lagoose.
Right.
Like the only other true energist we meet is creepy old man Lagusu, and like Hitomi doesn't get to explore it that much. Like, you can keep that mechanic. That's a cool mechanic. Just tell me more. Make it a focus. And that's basically what he said. That concept took me a while to hatch up. My first draft didn't have the robots showing up until later in the story, but the editors told me early on that I had to have robots in the first chapter. Without Hitomi's energist body, the story wouldn't have progressed fast enough. So, like, I actually, like, don't disagree with this original premise that, Katsu Aki had. I just wanted him to flesh it out more instead of making it like it was an excuse to get her to Gaia and have a robot in chapter 1, Like, that's all I ask. It's simple stuff. Because, again, I don't feel like I don't fundamentally actually disagree with, like, having a shonen manga version of this. Oh, I think also the other things that we didn't really touch too much on in this is that like there is a strong undercurrent of like more stereotypical sci-fi, like Zybok is polluting the planet and we must stop them. They like don gas masks while they're infiltrating a pipe to go, like one of Zybok's exhaust pipes to go infiltrate Zybok. They like use that and they put on gas masks. And I'm like, I am a big old concerned sucker about climate change. Like, please make that a main plot of the story. Don't make that like oh, we can see on the surface that Zybok is evil, but that's not the real evil. Like the real evil is they want to go colonize Earth, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
And not that like I don't have plenty of climate stories already, but just like I am into that niche, so I would have personally appreciated it more if it focused on that.
Right.
Those are some of my bigger takes on like what I would have done while keeping a lot of the same premise that Katsu Aki came up with on his own or was dictated to from other people.
Yes.
I don't know if you have anything.
No, that's pretty much the shape of it.
Don't be a coward. Keep Hitomi's glasses on her face the whole time. Don't pull a Barbie feminist girl crap like, oh, we just couldn't see how pretty you are because you had glasses on. No. Commit. I'm so picky. Raging feminists.
Sure.
I'm not. I try to be.
It's exhausting.
Yeah. So, yeah. Like, I think there's actually a lot of interesting things here. And the manga is not as bad as we laughably, like, led up to in my Blue Sky posts and everything. It's just, like, it's also not good or exceptional, you know? It's not good, much less exceptional, you know? much less noteworthy than the anime. Them's my thoughts. That's my hot takes. And so all of these versions have something to say about fate and the power of your emotions to affect everything, which, like, you know, that's a fairly shoujo statement to say, even in a shonen manga. In the manga, we get a lot of, like, the way this comes out is that Hitomi sees less visions of the future where she's trying to enact a different future based because she doesn't like what she saw, right? Like, so based on her will and her emotions and her feelings, a la anime Hitomi. This is like she's seeing sentiment visions, quote unquote, from the past. She's basically like entering the minds of different characters and seeing the horrible incident that altered their life and like shapes their thinking and how that has turned them into who they are and how who that made them affects everything they do, right? And again, it just like that's fine and good and everything, but it just doesn't land as strongly because it feels like Hitomi sees those things in the manga. Like she sees Dornkirk just wanted a hug from his dad or like Dilandau really just wants to be loved, wanted his mom to love him and not try to kill him, right? Like wants to resolve those emotions. So she feels like she's like, oh, well, now I've unlocked the secret to their sadness and pain and I can solve it. And it's like, that's very pat, right? Like,
right. Yeah.
Whereas in the anime, it's like very complex layering of like, okay, maybe Hitomi changed the future once and it was fine, right? But it's like those decisions compound and then it becomes more and more and more entangled. And like there's a message about anxiety and like the further entangling that becomes. And it's just like, oh, your emotions can bind you. And she gets conflicting views on those things from like Vaughn's mom being like, hey, this is like what destroyed Atlantis and everything. But like Hitomi's grandmother who gave her the pendant being like, no, your wishes are powerful and you should lean into them, right? Like she's getting like from a lot of different people, a lot of different views on this. And there's no like pat, easy resolution to anything that happens there. And so I'm just like, manga had a chance to say something interesting. And I just think in the end it was really boring, especially in comparison. You're like, yes, hard agree, 100%.
Yeah.
Write the paper, seal it. And yeah, I mean, the only thing left is a 2-second shipping corner. So Malerna and Alan, like, sure, be together, whatever.
Yep, that's fine.
That's fine. There was no tension.
Nope.
None. All of the tension came from Malerna just being like, no, but fighting Zybok is scary, and what if Alan gets stabbed? Boring.
I mean, Alan created tension when he endangered the people of Asturia, but he did that better in the anime. I mean, we should stop comparing it. I can't help it.
No, it's there. It's lying there.
Ugh.
It's lying there. And I love the anime so much. I've watched it so many times. It's like
I know.
Downloaded into my brain.
I know.
Chachuka. Anyway. So there was implied romance between Finalia and Escaflowne, right?
Yeah.
But they're both such nothing characters.
Yeah, it actually made me want to know more though, which you can't say about most of the things in this manga.
No, right? Yeah, you're like, so how did you all establish a land where like Escaflowne became the guardian?
The guardian goddess.
The guardian goddess. Like, what happened to Finalia? Like,
right?
As an energist, dude, you know, like, I have questions. They are not resolved by this.
No. Fanfic time.
Fanfic time. No, thank you. I have other fanfics to write. I got all my Jude Mila fics, Tales of Zelia lying around. My bleach but shoujo-ified original content. Yeah, and it's hard to root for them as a couple, Finalia and Escaflowne, because we saw them like abandon a child, and wasn't there like a third guy in here too or something? Like a fourth guy?
Frayed.
Oh yeah, Frayed. Also a non-presence.
Yeah, like I don't feel bad for Frayed.
Yeah. Oh, Prince Sheed was here. We didn't talk about him. He's the same.
He didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything, and he's the same. He's a sweet little boy.
He did a lot more in the anime.
He did do more in the anime. He did some of the same things in the manga, and he's just still a cute little boy.
He did, but he wasn't Alan's kid either.
That's true.
That was weird.
Yeah, it was. See, anime Alan's so fun because really that anime is just about the slow breaking of Alan. And it's delightful.
Yeah.
It's just Alan taking more and more damage points.
Yeah. Chivalry is dead, folks.
Yeah.
Alan Shazar proves it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No,
Chivalry wishes it was dead.
Asher keeps arguing with me that like Hitomi didn't really love Vaughn in the anime, and I'm like,
that is not what I am arguing.
Okay.
I am arguing that the transition was poorly executed.
Okay, whatever. She always loved Vaughn. Vaughn was the focus. Alan was a false ideal.
Okay.
And the anime is really just a story about the slow breaking of Alan.
Okay. But you know how we were arguing about Vaughn not showing his work?
Yeah.
Okay. Hitomi, show me your work.
No.
All right.
No. That applies to definitely both of them as a romantic couple in this. Because, okay, it's actually very funny in this. Hitomi is like all in on Vaughn from the get-go, I guess. I mean, he's annoying through the first 2 volumes, so she's like, can you stop being annoying? And then once he stopped being annoying, she's like, oh my god, yay. Right? Like, Prince Vaughn, hot. Cool. Want to protect him all the time. So Manga Hitomi tells Vaughn that she loves him twice. And Vaughn says both times, I love you too, Hitomi, and Alan, and all the people of Gaia or something. And you're just like, damn. Like,
yeah, it's exactly what Hikaru says at the end of Magic Knight. When Lantis is like, what's marriage? What do people on your planet do when they're in love? And Hikaru's like, get married. And Lantis is like, who do you want to get married to? Hikaru's like, Lantis and Eagle and Umi and Fu and everyone on Saphira.
Yeah. So like, it's real hard. Like, Hitomi is saying that in a like, I want to smooch you. She does smooch him once.
She did. And he was like,
He was like, okay. He was like, thanks. I guess, like, he very much is so confused. And like, I thought we were friends. Even though he has seen her naked. So maybe because he's seen her naked so many times now, he's just like, this is just, yeah. You know? Literally, I think through half, if not more, of volume 8, Hitomi does not have clothes. Okay? Like, that is not an exaggeration. I'm not exaggerating.
No, I know.
That is just straight up the truth, okay? And so, like, yeah, Vaughn and Hitomi, sure, a couple that are very funny. And again, the one true pairing in this is Yaifa and Dilandau.
Yes.
May they have a wonderful life killing each other.
No, now it's weird because Dilandau is going to be a 6-year-old forever.
Oh, you're right. Ugh. Too bad. Yaifa couldn't even get what he wanted in the afterlife. Sad.
No, that's okay. It dodged a bullet there.
He dodged a bullet. It's true. Dilandau's helping him out. Is there anything else that we should say about Shonen Manga Escaflowne?
No.
No, you're like, we've already said too much about Shonen Manga Escaflowne.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We have. All right. Some of it was about anime Escaflowne. And you can never say too much about anime Escaflowne, okay? That's... I could talk about... Somebody... Why does nobody invite me on their podcasts to talk about anime Escaflowne? I am begging you. Please. Please. Anybody. Okay. I'll stop begging now and do an outro. Thanks for listening to Shojo and Tell. Comments, questions, constructive criticism, concerns. Need to tell us how much you disliked this manga or liked it? I would be so intrigued. Email shoujoandtell@gmail.com or leave a comment on the episode's YouTube page. We're at Shojo and Tell on Blue Sky, Tumblr, and Instagram, and I will maintain my Twitter presence, but I do not support... I can't even say it's not Twitter anymore, but he named it a letter that you don't pronounce in Japanese titles, so like it's nothing now. That's all I'm saying. Like,
Blue Sky Holic.
Blue Sky Holic, yes, exactly. Oh god. Blue Sky Holic, Spy Fam, Hunter. You cannot find Asher on the internet. He's mine. He's a rabbi.
Wow.
Rabbi Asher. You can find him on LinkedIn.
Cool.
No, you can't. Are you excited every time you see a new episode from us? If so, please consider leaving a rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you want to leave ratings. I don't even know anymore. Stitcher is dead. Like, I don't know where you do those things anymore. Just do it. This will help the podcast reach more hearts, or at least ears. Thanks again for listening. We'll be back next time for Don't Quote Me on This. But, Asher, are you ready?
Uh-huh.
Are you ready?
I can see what you're about to say.
Yeah, but are you ready?
I think I'm more ready for that than I was for this.
Okay, great. I think we're gonna do. We're gonna go for broke. I'll keep stay in the 90s or whatever, and do the shoujo manga version of Cowboy Bebop. Yes. Again, my ride or die anime, not Evangelion, not Cowboy Bebop, not Sailor Moon, Escaflowne. But I have seen Cowboy Bebop. I've even watched the Netflix version, so I have. I'm not. I know things. See you, Space Cowboy. No.
I'm not gonna say it.
You can say bye. And remember, never stop digivolving.
Oh man.